Hello, beautiful Piscean family, and welcome to February 2021 and the lead into Pisces season. Happy birthday to February Pisces out there. I am so looking forward to Pisces season. I love it. It's one of my favorite energies to work with and explore and move through. And February is always an interesting month for Pisces because obviously, the first few weeks of the month are going to be really heavy on your neighboring sign of Aquarius, which is a lead up to your birthday, a return of the sun to your sign, and therefore is a time of deep dreaminess, deep exploration from behind the scenes. A lot of these themes that are, I would consider the countercultural, which I've been talking about, Piscean magic and your all emphasis on that for the last few months, where we've been talking about how because we have so much energy in Aquarius, it's actually highlighting for Pisceans specifically an emphasis on the behind the scenes, the hidden, the natural energy that you tend to work with in the way you move through the world, in the way you get things to happen, in the way you connect with divine, which I'm very excited about. This month is a little bit mysterious. It's also very visionary. So it's got a bit of a mixture of moods. So we have Mercury retrograde in Aquarius the first 3 weeks of the month. Mercury goes direct on the 20th. We also obviously have Jupiter, Saturn, and the Sun moving through Aquarius early this month. And we have Venus moving through Aquarius in February. So Venus starts in Aquarius on the first of the month. So we have 5 planets moving through, including a new moon in Aquarius as well. So it's really, really, really powerfully Aquarian in ways we haven't seen for a very, very long time. And we're all going to be adjusting to that and working with that. But for me, what that tells me is not only are we going to have this whole season emphasizing for you that hidden behind the scenes magic, but then we move into Pisces season itself and we're going to do more of that. So for you, this is really going to be about embracing your natural modality, which I know I've been repeating. I've been a broken record on this for like 3 months now. I know. But this is one of my favorite topics because it's something I think about pretty much daily. To work in the modality that I consider to be actually Aquarian and Piscean means to not be valuing like busy work, hard work, over pushing, making things happen, mastering things, which is something that has really developed in Western culture, very specifically over the last 500 years of kind of like taking things, dominating the land, all of these themes that are, they become so innate that we kind of don't question them. And to drop things and to loosen our grip, to allow ourselves to go into the dreamy and the fantastical is actually a really important countercultural practice. And I know we talk about sometimes how, yes, being too far into dreamland can cause you to kid yourself or to get so into fantasy that you can't see clearly. And absolutely, like that's one of the tricky areas, I think, with dreaming and with allowing yourself to go behind the scenes is that you've got to, practice developing those muscles, so to speak, of differentiating, understanding what is healthful dreaming, healthful behind the scenes, and what is just avoidance or like negative fantasy, right? So that is a trick, I think, with Piscean energy. And I think anybody who has a lot of Piscean energy in their chart, that's one of the things they're learning in life is how to differentiate between when they're using that magical power to sabotage themselves and when they're using it to help themselves, right? So, and I mean, I feel you. I have Neptune in my first house, and I so often feel like my go-to is to just go into that other world and to be there and to do my work there. And I am not against that. Once again, it is countercultural. It is something that a lot of our culture is going to tell you that you're doing the opposite of what you need to be doing. It makes me think about, actually, when I was thinking about your month this month, as we move into Pisces season and as we're embracing so much of this mysterious energy this month, and we also have a full moon in your opposing sign, too, in Virgo at the end of the month as well. So keep that in mind as well for reflection, really seeing yourself and your relationships in new light, incorporating, and all of that. But I was thinking about, not to like appropriate too much or anything. This is such a beautiful concept, though, I'm by no means like a scholar or a student of the Tao or Taoism in general, but this message came through for me as far as like something that I think applies really well to practices that may be helpful for you during this Aquarius season and the lead up to Pisces season, which is this passage from Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, which is, in pursuit of knowledge, every day something is added. In the practice of the Tao, every day something is dropped. Less and less do you need to force things until you arrive at non-action. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. True mastery can be gained by letting things go their own way. It can't be gained by interfering. And, that's kind of the crux of a lot of Taoist teachings, is to move with the flow of life, right? And I think, we're often so trained to like gird ourselves against that teaching, because immediately, I'm sure many of you, and even me, there's that voice that says, well, if you just do nothing, then what are you even doing here? Everything's going to fall apart. You're going to be homeless, and you're going to hurt other people and all of that. And I think there's a subtlety to this practice, right? It's not about literally just going and sitting on a rock. It's about not constantly feeling that we have to be pushing, manipulating, acting. 2 cards came out. Let's address that. Wheel of Fortune and the World. Wow. Oh, I love that. Yeah, and it makes sense. We're entering Pisces season, so it's an evolution of a new year, a new solar year for Pisces sun especially. And so it is kind of like, I think birthdays can be a very reflective time, right? A time when we really think about what this last year has brought us. And, this last year has brought us some things, right? And a time to really get connected with like who you are now. So there is a connecting with the next world, the next iteration of your being showing up here. 9 of Wands, there's that worry voice that if it hears, if the guy in the 9 of Wands hears that wisdom of, dropping every day something is dropped, he is like not comfortable with that at all, because he's like, no, we need to keep on our guard. So it's interesting that card is coming up in the context of you embracing your innate wisdom that is in fact always going to be a bit countercultural, right? We have a very I would say, fire energy and air energy probably has the easiest time in the current culture in many ways. That's a generalization, but because it's the way that things are done. You communicate, you act, you move. Everybody's like, oh, I know what that is. Okay. With water energy in general, and we're getting better at this as a culture, I think, but still. 2 cards wanted to come out. 6 of Cups and Ace of Swords. All right, let's work with that. But I think water energy is always going to be, you do the energy work first, you do the emotive work first, you do the connective, unseen work first, the unseen order of things first. That's where everything is, right? And that's a truth that's very, very deep. And yet we keep getting told that it's the other way around. Anyway, let's talk about your month this month, Pisces, because, okay, boom, new chapter. Both of these cards and coming out together like this, it's a new chapter. And you're already there. This isn't something you're like, oh, I'm working toward it. You're already there. You've already leapt into this next phase. Like, you are waking up into whoever you are now, and you're starting to work with those tools and those insights and those movements in the world. Also, I love this because I think this kind of energy is very refreshing after this last year, right? Since last Pisces season, when things kind of got thrown up in the air and we all had to figure out how we were going to work with that, right? Because it really was last Pisces season that things shifted, actually. And to have these cards, which are deep openings, right? They are openings to new adventure. They are openings to new chapters. They are opening to new connections, new projects, new opportunities, doors opening. And I do feel February is one of those months, even with the Mercury retrograde and some of that mysterious energy working through our sky at that time. I still think that February is an unlocking. Something gets unlocked and clarified and moved forward. And for you all, I'm seeing that. Now, there is this Nine of Wands, and this is telling me that, you may feel a little wary to trust some of those openings, some of those releasings of the mystery into the knowing, right? You may feel a little nervous to trust your intuition. You may feel a little nervous to trust that things are actually improving, right? You may feel like you just want to like hold back a little bit and like wait and see, like, yeah, we'll see. You may feel that a little bit. And the most important thing, if you're getting Nine of Wands energy, is to acknowledge and soothe this part of ourselves, right? Give this part of ourselves nourishment rather than getting annoyed at it, right? Because it wants to protect us. This is the part of ourselves that wants to keep us safe after a lot of stress and wants to kind of keep an eye out. And here's where this is like, you're going to have a dialogue with yourself with that counterculture, inner knowing, Piscean magic, and the part of yourself that wants to stay safe, and figure out what that dialogue is and who you want to end up leading you forward. Also, there's some healing going on here. Actually, when I see the Nine of Wands with the Six of Cups showing up right after, to me, this is a very healing time. It's a time to look at how defenses have traveled with you throughout your life. And I often find, that it's a lifelong practice. This right here, a lot of the things we're taught as young people, when we're in our tenderest, most open time, right? Hitches a ride with us throughout life. It makes me think of the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. When you are at the end of that ride, you get a ghost that comes home with you in the little hearse thing. And that's what this makes me think of. It's like, and you think that you've transcended past it and you're just like living your life and you're so good. And then it like comes back and it's like, hey, no, actually you're not allowed to do that. We need to worry. And what I'm seeing here is this month with the Mercury retrograde in your 12th house, with the new moon in your 12th house and all this energy in your 12th house, it's allowing you to access different layers of your consciousness, including your subconscious beliefs, and possibly take a new look at them and have a chance to release. And, this happens in layers over time in practice, right? It's not something that just happens in a month and you're done, or in a full moon and you're done. It's something that we keep practicing. What I'm noticing here is you're getting invited over and over again to move forward, including this Ace of Swords. And part of your work, and I think this is always the work when we're getting invited to move forward, is there's a part of us that clenches in and goes back to that the old message, right? Because it's safe there. We know what that message is. We've been told it should work. It's natural for us to go there. And this is really the place when we're being invited to open to this next chapter. You're getting opportunities, you're getting open doors, you're getting information, you're getting clarity, you're getting to understand where you're moving next. All of that's opening for you. This is the time when you can look at those beliefs that are saying, no, hold back, and just soften them a little bit, right? Work with them, soften them a little bit, and allow yourselves to be the beautiful, magnetic, glowing, gorgeous Pisceans that you're always meant to be in the world via embracing that hidden part of yourself. And even though it's hidden, it actually is visible to the world when you're really allowing that communion with yourself, right? It really makes a huge difference. Let's pull one final card from the Animal Totem Tarot here. This deck comes out a few times a year. I love it. It's so beautiful. Highly recommend working with it if you're somebody who doesn't like doing Rider-Waite. I like Rider-Waite because it's somewhat neutral for me in a way, so I can really like hear. But there's so much beautiful artwork out in the world, and I love the animal medicine of this deck. It's very inspiring, very soothing. So Seven of Wands wanted to come out. The skunk. Let us see what the message for the skunk is. Oh, I love the skunk. Seven of Wands. All right, let me see if I can find it. I'm always like trying to get through this book and I have no idea where I am. Okay, here we are. Seven of Wands, the skunk. Here is the message for this. I'm not really much of a fighter. Truly, I prefer to be left to my own devices and treat the world around me with as much respect and honor as possible. But sometimes I have to stand up for myself, and I am not afraid to do so. It is, however, the last resort, as I do give a preemptive warning of what is to come if things don't calm down. That's a really interesting message, right? Because I was just talking about, this inner warrior, wounded warrior, the one that wants to gird. The skunk is also, a bit protective, about honor and respect and boundaries, right? Healthy boundaries around work. And the 7 and 9 of Wands also have to do with forward action, forward movement, being, it's a fire element of action in the world. And I was just talking about, dropping things and not doing and not interfering. And there's kind of this feeling to me like there are these two streams meeting inside of yourself, and you're having a conversation. One is like this soft, warm water that's just like flowing along, is very relaxing to be in. This cold, harsh water, and they're meeting, and you can feel like the heat and the cold, intermingled in the water. Have you ever had that experience? And you're having to kind of sort through where you are feeling like you're forcing, feeling like you're putting yourself in scenarios and things that don't respect or honor you, and where you are in flow, and really assessing what is what. That is what I'm noticing here with the energies. It's really interesting. Like, you're going to have to come to a deep understanding of where you're forcing yourself to keep moving and taking action when it feels off for you. And that's going to be a huge part of this whole assessment of doing the hidden behind the scenes work. Is it's also hidden in behind the scenes how we talk to ourselves, how we force ourselves, how we convince ourselves, how we shut ourselves down. And as we know, you can't selectively shut yourself off, right? You can't selectively say, well, I'll just keep doing the same routine here, and then I'll start addressing everything over here. We're shutting off a part of ourselves when we keep doing that, right? So this is going to be the big question for you all. How you want to evolve, how quickly you want to evolve, and if you're ready to release into it or not is going to be the big question this month. And I think it's a valid time to just let yourself do that work. Very interesting reading, Pisces. I'm so curious to see how this month shows up for you. I'm so excited for Pisces energy to come in. I need it. I swear, I just need some of that watery wisdom. It's been a while since Scorpio season, so I'm ready. I love you all so much. You can find me on Instagram and my website. You can also find me on my Patreon, where we do activations for the moons and we do weekly check-ins, and it's a really great space if you're just looking for a little soothing medicine. It's a really affordable way to connect with me, and I share a lot more of my human journey there. So I'd love to see you over there. Thank you to those of you who have joined me. And you can find PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry on her Etsy shop. I will leave her link below. I'm sending you all so much love. Take such great care of yourselves, Pisces, and I will see you in March for more Pisces season.